All right, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to another Art with Errol podcast. This is our Monday check in. Let's go. All right, everybody. Whew. Man, oh man, it seems like the weeks and days are just merging together. And I think that's what I'm titling this one. In case you're new to the podcast, I'm Errol. I'm your host, Art with Errol. I do artwork. I'm a graphics designer. I, do a little bit of gaming, So, and we podcast, It's just been crazy, y'all. I feel like everything is merging together. And, it's just been one of those years. And I said this in my previous podcast, with all the stuff going on, I'm trying my best to hold life together, hold everything together. Feel lost in the sauce, baby. I'm lost in the sauce, and everything is merging and folding into one. Good news, though. Our channel, our gaming channel, has arisen to 290 subscribers, y'all. For those who've been following the podcast, we've been slowly growing. And our videos are starting to get a little more attention, which is great. People are participating. I'm seeing more comments. I enjoy that. I try to respond when I can. Sometimes I don't have the time to jump back on. It's not easy to always jump on and respond to folks, but you try your best, man. You try your best. As far as like artwork, y'all, we completed the Jimi Hendrix painting. If you have not checked that out, please go to the Art with Errol YouTube channel or Instagram, wherever you want to watch it. With the short, I was able to put the music, so we put Voodoo Child, because I got it shrunk down to 59 minutes, or under a minute, right? I mean, not 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Sorry, got it under a minute. So you're able to add, music with the shorts and stuff. If you get it down to that minute or under a minute, that's what you got to get it to. So it's sped up super fast, and I think it came out great. I'm happy with it. The recreation was done from a painting that had very little detail. I added more detail to mine, and I tried to keep shadows, like the original, like this side of his face, kind of like, shadowed out and, darker or whatever. So, I think I did a good job with it. I'm happy with the way it turned out, and we finished it. It's good. So on to the next one for artwork. We will be looking at doing my father, since he passed away. I want to do a portrait of him. So this week we'll maybe do some sketch work. I'll pull up the photo. We'll try to sketch it out. We'll mess around with it, and looking at maybe next week starting working on a painting of my father. And that's kind of where we're at with the artwork. And I'm really happy with growth, y'all. Channels are on the up and up. We're making content, we're making videos, we're doing a podcast. Like I said, I wanted to try to fit more artwork in so that I can maybe do some digital work as well when I have spare time to do like some digital work, maybe recording and just posting it. That's a concept or an idea, something we can do. But I gotta look at that and see if I can fit that in and start doing that as well. Let me pull up the art channel real quick while we're talking about the art channel. And we actually had a little bit of growth on the art channel. I think the Jimi Hendrix painting actually pushed us up, because we were +6 in the last 28 days. It's higher than what it's been. So that's actually good, So between the two channels, we are getting growth, our channels are growing, and that's what our podcast has mostly been about. Like, how do we get into the algorithm? How do we grow our channels? And we've been working hard between last year and this year to like gain these little small gains that we've been gaining, and just being a little more consistent. Actually is what I believe has been pushing us, to get the interest for folks, and hopefully we're building a community, and as more and more people seem to come back, you want to be able to have more returning viewers, and that's a challenge, man. It is a challenge. I'm just looking at some metrics. I'm trying to pull it up. Okay, we'll look at the gaming channel now. So with our gaming channel, I think we're on par to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year. Looking at it on Social Blade, which gives you kind of projections, it's a guesstimation. It's not accurate because you can have a boom, right? You can make a video or some kind of content that could actually, launch you, into like higher numbers. I have yet to have that breakout video. I was hoping this year I would have that breakout video, but just hitting 500 in September is what it says of this year. So that's pretty good. If we keep on making content and keep working hard, 500 is where you open up the door, to get like, super chats and all that stuff. So that would be pretty awesome to just be able to unlock stuff. They lock all these, things behind paywalls, and I understand why, commercials and all that stuff is all locked behind, basically growth walls. You have to hit certain levels of growth in order to unlock things and earn money on YouTube, but at least if you can get to the 500 subscribers and the 4,000 watch hours, or actually it's 3,000, they lowered it, I think. It's 4,000 for the next step. So for the memberships and super chats and shopping and stuff, that unlocks with 3,000 watch hours. So that's pretty good. So hopefully we can get there, at some point, and maybe be able to earn some money on YouTube and maybe become a full-time creator at some point. That would be nice to be able to earn money from home. Not everybody can make it there, right? So just got to keep working hard, man, on our content. I think that's the thing. With the art channel, I think we're kind of lagging behind, which I've always been, lagging behind. I could pull up. Oh, shoot. What did I do? I didn't do something right. Sorry, technical difficulties, y'all. We're working on it. Why is it not coming up now? Okay, there it goes. There you go. I was wondering what's going on there. So look at future projections for the art channel, which is Art with Errol. It's showing 2027 for 500 subscribers. So I mean, that's mainly because we're not posting every day, on the art channel. It would be hard for me to get post up every day unless I start doing some iPad stuff every day. If I could squeeze that in when I'm like maybe taking the kids to do stuff or whatever, and I can sit there and just sketch them out on the iPad, maybe just throw up some videos. That may be too much though. Maybe that's a way I can do it though. And maybe it doesn't have to be every day. Maybe it could be every other day, or I don't know. I got to figure something out with that though to help promote the art channel more and grow it more. With the podcast added into the art channel, I think that's kind of helping. I'm hoping that it's helping because we had a podcasting channel, but that was not growing at all. So at least that gives me another post once a week onto the art channel. Whereas the gaming channel, we're doing content every day. So it's a huge difference in the level of content that you put out, man. If you can do 2 videos a day or whatever and be consistent with it, that definitely can help your growth, man. But that's a lot of times that's hard to do, man. A lot of times that's hard to do, especially when you work a job and you got family life and all that stuff. So it may not always be possible. So maybe just fitting it in when you can is another option, And today is our podcasting day. So usually this is I do the gaming news short, and then we do the podcast on Mondays, and that's about max what I can put out, on a Monday. And Tuesdays is usually just our gaming short. I don't have time, due to other obligations. I don't have time to do another piece of content on Tuesday. So, it would be nice if maybe on Tuesdays I can, get some sketch work done on the iPad, in like one of the drawing apps or something. Maybe I could do like a series or something like that. I don't know. Maybe we do like a little cartoon, because they have those little cartoon apps too. You can like draw in them and make like a little silly cartoon or something. That could be something fun to like mess around with, I guess. And maybe that would be interesting. I think I have one on my iPad. I'm not sure. I have to look. Where we could make some kind of like little cartoon and just work on it every Tuesday, and it'll be like a thing. And then whenever it's finished, we just have that one video that plays, the actual cartoon, but you have like build up to it. Maybe that's gonna be an option or something to do, man. And I think I might try that if I can. I'm gonna try to squeeze it in, a little bit of that, and then just maybe posting the video of me doing the sketch work on the pad. Which won't really, see, the thing about that, it won't have like me in it. It'll just be the iPad, whatever I can record from the iPad of me doing the sketch work. So that will be the only thing there. But maybe that's an option or something to get more content onto the art channel. Maybe we can make a character that goes on an adventure or something. I don't know, something like that. We'll come up with something. So, just in hindsight, I feel like, like I said, everything's been kind of blurring together. The whole, days, all the days and stuff are starting to mesh together, and you realize you're in April, man. The year is just moving along, man. It's moving along fast. And with all the stuff that's been happening, it's just, lots of stresses this year, and, all kinds of things happening in life, and you just, trying to hold it together. At least that's where I'm at. I don't know where you at in your life. I'm just telling you where I'm at in my life right now. And I'm still wanting to, like, push forward on the content, even though we got all kinds of things happening, we're just trying to make the best out of each situation that we can, and I think, like I said, the next art piece is going to be a little bit more intense because, like I said, my father passed away. I want to, this is going to be a tribute to him. So I need to make sure I do this next one well, so I got to really take my time. So this one might actually be one that we actually kind of extend out more than just 2 weeks. It may be like 3 or 4 weeks. I may do more on the sketch work to try hammer it down before I can draw it on the canvas. It just depends on how well I can knock out the sketch this week. Which Wednesday, Thursday, I want to knock out sketch work. We're gonna just start sketching him out a few times or something until I can get it to where I can say, okay, I can accurately sketch him onto the canvas and then paint him in my style after that. That's what I would like to do. So if I can do that, that will be great. So at least that's the plan for this week. We're gonna start the sketch work, and depending on how well it turns out, we'll move forward putting it on canvas next week or whatever. There's different ways you can do it. I prefer doing freestyle kind of but you can do grid lines. You can do all the shapes and all the stuff, and grid lines with the shapes and stuff. And that helps you be more accurate. But that requires me to print the picture out, draw the grid lines on the picture, then have the picture up, the canvas here, grid line it, and then draw each individual square to get the accuracy a lot closer. Placement becomes a lot closer when you can grid line something. Either do like 1-inch squares or smaller, depending on how. I think 1-inch squares are usually the best to do. But you could do 2-inch squares or whatever. Depending on what the scale is too. You gotta look at how you're scaling it up too, because the printout has to have a certain amount of detail. I think the picture I got of him, it doesn't have a whole lot of quality detail in it, so it would be one of those things I would have to like really focus on, like upscaling it in real time while you painting or whatever. Anyway, so there's several different ways you could do it, but I tend to like the freehand. I mean, you see, if you watch my videos, you see I kind of freehand a lot of them. Freehand. I don't use a lot of grid lines. I just guesstimate. Which gives it my own like flavor or style, because for me, having little errors to me is fine as long as it's not so far away from what you're trying to achieve. And that way it's coming from you. It's like how you see the object or how you see the person is how you lay them down on the canvas. So whereas in like when you're doing grid lines and stuff, you're basically copying, it's just a way of copying it, upscaling and copying it in a way. Anyway, that's just why I like to kind of freehand it up. But I think for my father's portrait, maybe I want to use some kind of like structure lines and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I'm excited to do the painting. I think I will make it look as great as I can make it, and we'll go from there. So other than that, man, I think that like I said, life has just been so crazy this year, and just trying to hold it together and focus, man. Stuff is merging together. Days are merging together, and we're already in April, y'all. It's crazy. It's crazy how fast time is flying by. And it's things I want to accomplish this year. I would like to hit 500 subscribers on both channels if possible, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. So, working hard still, even though situations have been happening, life events have been happening, all kinds of stuff has been going on. We are making the best of life, and we are still pushing forward to work on our content. There was only that 2-week break that I took, for the father's funeral and all that stuff. But you know, other than that, we're kind of getting back on track. It's just very, very slow. Been slow about it. Which is fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I am happy with the growth. I am happy with the people that have been commenting. Thank you to those who take the time out to actually write your boy comments, liking the videos, all that stuff, helping the growth of the channel. That's much appreciated to everyone out there that's showing love and support, to this adventure we're on together. Yeah. So, yeah. Where are we at? Okay, time is just rolling by, and we're at 21 minutes. Usually my podcasts are really short. I just kind of want to talk about the week and what we got going on, what we had going on last week. Can't always get game streams in like I want to, but I just limited on time. So I'm trying to straight up make it just Friday. If we can get it in on Friday, we have a little stream time where we can game for a little bit. I've been playing Crimson Desert, and gotta say, man, I do like the game, man. I don't like the control scheme. I don't know why they made certain buttons do certain things. Like, to me, that grapple hook thing, if you know what I'm talking about this game, that thing where you send it out and it grabs on, that should not be the same as a crouch button. I don't know why it's the same button. Some of these choices I feel like were just terrible choices when it came to the button configuration, Like, just certain actions you just don't pair together, and I've said this to friends, I've said this to people that are playing the game with me, that play they have their own game and they're playing it as well. And I said, why would they pair these two together? It just makes no sense. I don't want to crouch. I don't want to be in combat trying to grab the enemy with the little hook, the hand hook thing or whatever it is, and then crouch down and he's flying around. I mean, it's not cool. It's not. It's not. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I still enjoy the game, even though it's a crazy button configuration. I'll never get over that. Like, it killed me too, because I was playing, and at one time, like, I was trying to join that card game in the beginning, where they're shaking a little thing and they got the little sticks or whatever. It's like a card game kind of thing. I walked in there to join the game, right? It was my first time trying to join the game, and I hit the I think it's X on that. Yeah, I hit the X, right, which is supposed to interact, but it's also the jump button. I jumped on the table, and then I accidentally broke something by hitting another button, and everybody left the room. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, my goodness, yo. The stuff that happens, yo. And I don't know if anybody else had that experience, but it happened to me. I jumped on the table, I broke something, and everybody that was at the card game table left, and I had to wait until, like, I think the next day or some, when the game came back. Anyways, other than the functions of the controls, I like the way the game looks. I like the way the combat is. Besides the controls can sometimes throw you off. The puzzles are somewhat fun too. Trying to figure them out or whatever. Overall, I think it's a good game. It's a really good game. So if you haven't been playing Crimson Desert, I mean, there's 3 million people bought the game, so it must be good. And thousands of people playing it. So I mean, that just speaks for itself, really, I think. So Friday, we'll try to dive back in. Over the weekend, I did play a little bit. I'm to the point where I'm going to start getting or finding the other gray main, companions or buddies or whatever. So we'll pick that up on Friday. I'm gonna try to just do bounties to earn money. Maybe if I have time to play during the week, which I don't know if I will. But on Friday for sure we will go ahead and get our camp, I guess, established by meeting with the gray mains and stuff, or finding the gray mains. So we'll get the camp established. Will be new to me. So, and I know I've probably made like a ton of mistakes in the game, because I know I've been selling items that I probably shouldn't be selling. I don't know, like a lot of the weapons, because I hadn't had storage or wasn't going back to store a lot of it. I was just selling the axes and other blades that I would find. Anyway, I'm enjoying the game. I'm glad I bought it, because at first, when everybody was like, the scores and reviews were kind of bad, I was like, oh man, am I gonna regret that I bought this game? And when I dove into it, I was like, oh man, like the open worldness and just exploration and stuff, I liked it. So, and I think my review, which I put on Metacritic, was like a 9 something or 9.0 or something like that. And I was like, yeah, it's great. But I mentioned the controls that, I didn't like the controls, but I did like the game. Didn't care about it being the greatest story. I don't really care if the game's got the greatest story in the world. To me, it doesn't have to have that all the time, Not for this type of game. You can just go where you want and do what you want, Anyway, that's just my opinion. Everybody's opinion is different. So that's enough for what I want to say about Crimson Desert. That's what I'm gonna continue to play until 007 First Light comes out, which comes out in May, right? I think it's May. Because I do want to play through 007. There's a few games that I wanted this year. It was Crimson Desert, 007, and Wolverine. I'm gonna dust off the PS5 so I can play Wolverine, if I got to stream it from the PS5 and there's no camera on me or whatever, when we playing Wolverine, I'm gonna play Wolverine. I'll get and it sucks because I was hoping that it would come to PC, but it seems like PlayStation is tailoring back from putting their first party games on PC now. So, when they started doing it, I thought they were going to come out with a launcher. I was thinking, they would have a PlayStation launcher. It would incorporate PS Plus some kind of way. Kind of how Xbox has Game Pass on PC. That they would have did their own app where you can play the PlayStation games and purchase them through that on PC. That's what I was thinking it was going to do. But they launched the games on Steam, I think, or, I don't know. Anyway, if they probably would have went that route, it probably would have been better for Sony, I think. Because then you would have had PC players maybe sign up for the PS Plus or whatever. You gain more there. And if you can have those certain games from PS Plus play on the PC or whatever, I don't know if they have to do that through emulation. I don't know how any of that works. But maybe PlayStation should have, or Sony should have invested in their own exclusive emulator that was incorporated into their launcher, with a DRM built in, all that stuff. So they could have had the protection they wanted for their IPs, games, or whatever. And then PC players would have access or whatever. That would have been fine by me because, I've been paying for PlayStation Plus. For a very long time. I've been with the PlayStation 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and then the 5. So, I've been with Sony like pretty much through all of its iterations, I guess. Only recently switched to PC, when I moved down here. So, I think I talked about that in another podcast. But besides the point, I'm a PC player now. And it would be nice to carry my stuff over, but that's just not how things work. Sony is keeping their stuff exclusive to their platform. Xbox is starting to open up. You can pretty much, I wonder when that but this is one thing I've been thinking about. Like, how is that new Microsoft app game thing, whatever they're doing? They talked about it, and they had a whole article on it, where they was redoing, I guess, the way their games and stuff was gonna work on PC. The software was gonna be different or something. So I wonder if they was just updating the app to do. I don't know. Anyway, curious to see how that turns out. But that was supposed to happen in April, so I don't know what date that was going on. And you know what? I kind of want to look at that article again. I don't know if I could find it. I think it was on Microsoft's Wire or something. Was it on Xbox Wire or something? Xbox Wire, maybe. I think that's where it was. I don't know. Where would I find that? Was it into the Project Helix? No, it was something about they was basically changing shit. I think it was on Xbox Wire. At least that's where I think I remember I made like a little report on it. There's the Project Helix. It was something it was talking about for April with software or something. March announcement, amazing partnerships. No. I'm just on the website looking, man. See if I can find it real quick. Which of course I'm not finding it. A new ROG ally, blah blah blah. Okay, that's not it either. Now I don't have a clue. I know they was doing tests on it or something. Was it a beta? Release notes, new home. That was the Xbox new home. Alpha, Omega. Yeah, I can't find it now. Of course, I can't find it now. No, I'm not crazy, y'all. I know I seen it. I know I made like a little video on it a while back. It was supposed to happen in April, where it was doing something. And of course, I just can't find it right now. Oh well, it is what it is, man. Maybe it'll just pop up, and I'll see an article on it again, and we'll talk about it again. I don't know. Maybe everybody forgot about it. But we was talking about Sony and their proprietariness. Their proprietariness. I don't think that's a word. Boy, I be making up stuff. But anyway, they're reverting back from putting their exclusive stuff onto PC, which sucks. Because I would like to play Wolverine on the PC, but I'm gonna have to dust off the PlayStation to play it on there. But 007, I should be able to get on Steam. So those are two of my other games that I wanted to get this year. Yeah. Anyway, we're at 34 minutes. This has been great, y'all. A lot of times these podcasts I do just to vent, kind of think things out loud. Sometimes for me, when I talk about it out loud and hear myself say it and know things that I need to work on, those things kind of help me out. So that's why I do the Monday check-in, and hopefully it helps you along the way, because you're seeing how I'm struggling to grow my channels. And what I'm talking about, consistency has been king. When I'm consistent, I notice more viewership and more stuff happens with the video. So if you can consistently post once a day or twice a day, you can grow your channel more. And that's important. Consistency, I think, has been king to a lot of this. It's just being consistent. And even though I'm growing slow, I don't have that boom start where like somebody like makes a video and a viral hit or whatever. I don't have any of that. So, I'm making do with what I got. And what we got is a consistency of putting out content. And that's been working. It's been slow, but it's been working. So, that's the way I look at it. Just we're going to keep pushing forward. And at least we know, based on projections, if everything works out, we will hit 500 subscribers on the gaming channel before the end of the year. The art channel will be sometime next year. And, with more subscribers and more people seeing the content, that will hopefully help, our growth, as long as people come back. A lot of times it's hard. Like, I don't have a lot of return ratios or return visitors, I guess. They subscribe, but then they forget about me or something. And that could just be, YouTube not showing on my stuff again, or I don't know, that could be anything. But I don't know. Maybe some of the topics are sometimes off from what they want or something. I don't know. But we'll keep working on that as well, too. Making the content better as we go. So, it's been a long day, y'all. We're rocking and rolling along. I think I'm going to call it here. My whole concept of this was that everything was merging together because I feel like life is just, kind of meshing together. My days are running together or whatever. I feel like, with in light of all the events that's been happening and things going on, it's just been crazy this year, As I said before, we've been riding the struggle bus for most of this year. We're in April, man. In April, it's crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. If you're out there and you're working on your own channel, keep pushing. Remember to try to stay as consistent as you can. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify or Amazon Music or Apple Podcasts, you can always follow us on YouTube as well. Twitch, our Twitch numbers are always low. Basically do the podcast to avoid. But, I don't know why I can't grow on Twitch. It's just I don't do enough streams probably. And I don't know. It's all good. I don't do 8-hour streams. My stuff is shorter. I got you for 30 minutes. 30 minutes of playtime. All right, y'all. Till next time, you know what to do. I'm out of here, man.